I've made it a point in one of my previous videos that the word peak gets used too lightly when it comes to describing how good something is. Moderately enjoy a show, it's a peak! Play a game that's kind of fun, it's a peak! This is peak, that is peak, everything good is peak. It kind of diminishes the impact of the word when it's thrown around this often. That's why I'm very careful about giving shows 10 out of 10 or calling things peak or calling someone the GOAT, unless I'm being ironic. However, I do not use the word peak lightly or ironically when I'm talking about Pizza Tower. Pizza Tower is an indie platformer game that came out in 2023, made by development team Toward the Pizza, which consists of developers like McPig, Mr. Sauceman, and other people you may have heard of. It's about a chef named Peppino Spaghetti whose pizzeria is in danger from a mysterious floating pizza with a face. Take a wild guess as to what his name could be. If you played Wireland, then you already know how the movement here works, because that game, well, the franchise, was a huge inspiration for the addictive gameplay demonstrated here. Running through walls, enemies, just anything is an absolute blast. There are 6 ranks for each levels, being D, C, B, A, S, and P. The only way to get these 2 is by playing the second lap of the level that only gets unlocked by the second time you play said level. It's a pretty fun challenge for you completionists out there, and I highly recommend it. Alright, enough with the glaze, and now let's get to the actual gameplay. Yeah, I played the whole game to get footage for this video. Though I will admit, playing the whole game in one sitting was not exactly the most fun thing out there, so if you're a new player looking to get into the meaty stuff with the most exquisiteness, maybe beat 1 floor of the tower per day or something, you know, let the dough marinate type shit. First up is the mandatory tutorial level. Man, you thought you can get into the cheese by just chicken winging it without getting to the tutorial? Nah bro, you're not bad like that. Do the tutorial bro. Anyways, here you learn how to play the game. This game is a masterpiece.
Game Trivia.
The song used in the tutorial level is actually a parody slash remix of the classical Italian folk song Funiculi. Pretty cool, right? If you hurt Peppino too much, you can go to hell. Well, I'm cooked. Anyways, we get to the first level, John Gutter. It's good. You know, the little thing to ease you into the main course. The appetizer, if you will. It's a really easy level with a couple of secrets most people would miss on a first playthrough. It's got all the introductory enemies and, well, not much more. It's the beginner level for crying out loud. You can breakdance in this game. This game is a masterpiece. I love breakdancing. I do that all the time in real life. Next level, and, well, it's also just good. I don't know, most of the great levels, like the best levels, are like on the second floor and higher. The first floor is just the vanilla stuff, yeah? Not to say it's mid, let alone bad, but just, you know, good. The second level has you traveling around in a castle, with the main level gimmick being the heavy knight armor that allows you to slide from slopes and kill rats. Oh yeah, level gimmicks. They can be real common starting now. This one's just okay. I'd give it a solid B tier. It's satisfying to kill enemies and the rats, but it's also not really fun to move around when you're not KK sliding from a slope. Alright, there's also costumes in this game. A wide variety at that. Take a look for yourself. Then is the third level, which, again, is just good. Hey, don't worry guys, the next level has something I actually want to talk about. This level introduces bombs. They're okay, just make sure you don't take them with you to another section of the stage, or else B tier for boom. Next up is my personal favorite of the first 4 levels, Blood Sauce Dungeon. I actually really like the music from this level. I don't know, it just flows, you know? Especially the secret stage music for this level. The song has no business playing this many times in my head for no reason. Like, I don't know, bro. The song is just so, like, satisfying. Also, I unlocked my first skin by failing to parry so many times in a row. You get this by taunting a grand total of 50 times in a playthrough. Also, by taunting, the instant you get hit, you can parry almost everything. A punch coming your way, a bullet, Texas. Anyways, this level starts off pretty standard until we get to the dark part where Peppino is dark, just like his surroundings, except for when you're above lava. Kind of a nice detail. A chef's kiss, if you will. Anyways, we get into the first boss fight, starring Pepperman. This boss is loads of fun. I'd say he's just another way they're doing it better. He has pretty standard attacks, followed by more complex versions, and a second phase where it's just his previous attacks, but faster. Great introductory boss for sure. Then we get to the second world where we get a bunch more gimmicks. The more toppings, the better. Or should I say the more toppins? We start the world with Oregano Desert. One of my favorites for sure. In this level, you eat a chili pepper, and breathe fire like a dragon. Gotta be one of the best level gimmicks of all time, and the second best fire gimmick in the game. Easily A tier. Also, they added cows. These guys are quite the trolls, so for that I'm trolling them by putting them in the trolls tier. Crumbling blocks and TNTs are interesting level mechanics, but they're not quite as much fun as the fire breath. So for that, they both get B tier. They gotta stop fighting. Fighting's not good. Alright, we got Mort the Chicken. They got Mort the Chicken from the PS1 game, Mort the Chicken. This game is a masterpiece. So there are two mechanics in this level. The flying ladder and the Mort himself. The flying ladder is a pretty cool idea. I'd give it a solid B tier. Mort, however, okay, I'm gonna stop hyping up Mort because I actually know absolutely nothing about this guy. I'd give it A. You can double jump and hit opponents with him, and you can hit these hooks to get some extra height. Like, what's not to love with this guy? Well, besides the fact that you can't run with him on you, but that's a worthy sacrifice. Well, for this level anyways. Yeah, whippersnapper! Because in this level, we're going to the bar. I don't know, I was going for something there. Anyways, this level has the best level song in the entire game. As for the level itself, it's also a blast. Maybe my second favorite level, but gameplay wise. We get 5 game mechanics in this one. The rocking horse race, the fans, the cards, the timed gates, and the glizzy.
I fell in love with the glizzy.
Horse races are kind of nothing once you're good enough at the game, but when it's your first time playing, then you might have a hard time with these fellas. They're quite braggish about their victories. Oh, look who didn't get a topping before I got a topping. I'd give them a B tier. The fans are kind of cool, not much else to say. I'm quite a fan. B tier. The cards are kind of just eh. I mean, you'd expect a little more from getting all the cards besides just some more points. C tier. The timed gates are really good at building up suspense for when you're about to get to the gate. Makes you want to hurry up like there's no tomorrow. I'd give it an A tier purely for that. Finally, we got the glizzy chest wiener. They kill rats, so that's good. B tier. Great level, great music, great aesthetic. What's not to love, eh? I wouldn't trust this Gustavo guy. He seems a bit too friendly. Bro, what you mean? Gustavo's my guy. Finally, we take it to the waste yard where we cry our souls to this gloomy guitar riff. Okay, not literally. Yeah, you turn into a ghost in this level. Cool, right?
Game Trivia.
The noise the ghost makes when you move is a reference to the noise the ghosts make in Pac-Man. It gets progressively faster after each ghost carrot eaten, just like how the ghosts from Pac-Man get faster the further you progress in the game. I'd give this mechanic an A. It's really nice how it starts off slow and gets faster after each carrot. And you're in hell yes. Breaking through walls as a ghost, even though these guys are kinda known to just phase through them, is so Pizza Tower, it's just funny. Also there's zombie boarding. I'd give it a B tier. Usually it feels more like an obstacle than something that actually helped. Like, I'm already moving around at the speed of sound, so why would I need the speed offered to me by the zombie? Like, it's not like I'm killing any rats in this level. Also in this level, when you hit Pillar John, unlike with any other level, he turns into a ghost and he chases you throughout the latter section of the level, and if he catches you, you reset to the first part of the level. Kind of an anticlimactic way of getting caught by something this imposing, but still giving it an A for creativity. Then we get to the second boss fight, the Vigilante. Not that Vigilante, this Vigilante. Honestly, I'm not that much of a fan of this one. You get to use a revolver, which is nice, I guess, but there's a certain other gun you can use in this game that far outclasses the revolver in terms of fun. I'll give it a B only because it works well with the fact that you're dueling against the duelist on equal footing. Out of all the bosses, this one is easily my least favorite. Not to say it's bad, but it's just that the other ones are just that much better. Crust Cove is the first level I played when I got into floor 3, and it's admittedly a little better than I remembered. When I first played the game, I kind of thought of this level as just an extra. Like, actually all of World 3 was kind of just an extra to me. Except for the boss, whom we'll be getting to soon. The music is quite groovy, but not something I'd go out of my way to listen to. This level gives us 3 mechanics: the barrel, the dash pads, and him. I didn't really like the barrel at first, but after getting used to it, it kinda grew on me. So for that, I'm giving it a B. Him is getting a C, since it doesn't really feel like he's firing at the player, but rather just where he thinks the player will go. Kinda stupid if you ask me. You are not him, bro. You are not him. Dash pads are nice, especially when it's literally impossible to get to Mach 3 in certain situations, so they get an A for convenience. Next up is the first level where we get to play as a new character, or I guess new characters, being Gustavo and Brick. I don't know if having different playable characters in a game makes them gimmicks, but the tier list I'm using for this video counts them as a gimmick, so I'm giving the bros an S tier. Gustavo and Brick switch up the gameplay enough to make you feel like you're playing as different characters, but also keep the fast-paced momentum that you've grown accustomed to. And also, I love the implication that Gustavo was inspired by Mario.
Game Trivia.
Some of his animations are based off of Mario sprites, like his taunts, her animation, and when he jumps on an enemy without brick. Another reason why these two are S tier gimmicks. Also that reaction, I might start using that in my future videos. It looks sick as hell. There's also the pizza gnomes that follow you with the timer, that if it goes out, then you don't get a topping. They get an A tier for the same reason as the time gates. Then we get the mushrooms. They're mushrooms and they bounce. B tier for bounce. Next we fly high into space with Deep Dish 9. We got these rockets that are honestly really satisfying to use. I'd give them A tier for sure. Sure, they may be a bit clunky, but when you're going that fast, are you really shocked? Then we got the olives. They're cool for getting places, but not much more. B tier. Then we got the teleporters that remind me of a little too much of Spiritomb, but maybe that's just me. They teleport you from point A to point B, but not the point back. Not much more to it than that. Oh my god, he's supposed to look like a Florida man. Like, chill bro, just golf. Despite the imagery, there's no gun in this level. Hey, but at least you get to play golf. Nah, it's not the same. The less hits it takes you to get the ball into the goal, the more points you get. Primo Burn gets you the most points, Hot Dog gets you some points, while nothing gets you nothing. Wow, who would have guessed? The golf ball is a gimmick, and I think he's, C tier. I don't know, he's just not for me. Certain nose can go with him too. You wanna know what you call a body with nothing except a nose? Nobody knows. And there's the guys that turn you into a ball to kill rats. Basically spin dashing except lame. The only thing you can do is jump or else no ball form and no kill rats. It is satisfying enough to barely save it from C tier for me, so B tier for balls. And now for the second best boss fight in the game, the noise. I was debating over whether this guy or the fourth boss was going to be my favorite, but after some consideration, the choice was made. The implication that Peppino and the noise have been hating each other for a while is on point. You can see in the intro of the fight that Peppino is just looking at you like, you see what I gotta deal with? And at the beginning of the second phase where he's just like, I'm gonna kill this bastard. It just feels like the two lifelong rivals are finally getting at it after such a long time with the way they behave against one another. Another thing I love about the noise is the fact that he taunts you after every attack. He's just built to rage bait the living shit out of you, and it's awesome. Not to mention the fact that his attacks become much more unpredictable in the second phase, where it's just his usual attacks in a random pattern except with an extra layer of troll thrown into the mix. This fight is just awesome. And with that, we're on floor 4. The first level I played in this playthrough was Pig City, and I gotta say, I love the aesthetic they were going for here. I'm sure McPig had a lot of fun designing this level. It's a ghetto city in the slums with a bunch of smoke and trash everywhere, and all the residents having their own vibe. Like, the whole thing's just amazing. As for the gimmicks, we got the cops, the grind rails, and the rat balloons. These cops are kind of just, The level wouldn't feel any different without them. Like, if anything, they're kind of just there to kill the momentum. I guess it's not out of character for a cop to do that, but it still just isn't that good. For when you're playing as Peppino. Yeah, that's right, in this level, you get to play as Gustavo and Brick for the only other time in the whole game. For these guys, however, the cop just kidnaps Brick, and Gustavo has to save him by himself. That kind of changes my opinion on the pigs, since Gustavo and Brick weren't built to go at a breakneck speed, the same way that Wario Man over here was. Overall, I'd give them a B. The grind rails, I'd give a B for Peppino and C for Gus and Brick, since Gustavo kind of just does this, and I'm not a fan of this, so overall a C. Then we got the rat balloons. They let Peppino float and give Gus and Brick a very floaty descent and a bit of an air boost, which is pretty nice. I'll give it a B, not much else to say. Overall, one of my favorite levels in the game for sure. After that, it's the level that takes place in a factory. We get a new form in this level, Pizza Box Peppino. This form is loads of fun. It's very satisfying to kill enemies with the spin move. I'd give this one an A. Air busts don't really make much of a difference when you're moving at Mach 4 when you're on them for the most part. C tier. Factory spawners are good. They summon the dash pads to screw with you. I like that clever game design. B tier. You've heard Peppino 10 times.
Game.
I regret to inform you that absolutely nothing happens if you harm Peppino too many times. It doesn't matter how many times you hurt him, nothing will happen. It just keeps saying, you've hurt Peppino, insert multiple of 10 times. All the way until 100, and it's just meant to scare new players. It doesn't alter the ending whatsoever, the devs are just trolling you. This game literally has a level called Oh Shit. This game is a masterpiece. And oh shit is right, because this level is kinda mediocre. It was one of those levels I played just because I had to. Like, it wasn't bad, but I didn't really feel like I gained anything from playing the level. Like, music wasn't hidden, which is pretty rare for this game. And the main level mechanic is absolutely abysmal. Get this in D tier and never let it leave. The move is clunky, and the wall jump is just Gustavo and Brick's wall jump, but worse. The switches are fine, B tier. The garbage lid is just the corpse again, so it goes in the same tier. Then there's the banana. Editor Swig here actually forgot these things made an appearance all the way in the first level from the monkeys, so oops. These get an A. They're almost unmatched when it comes to catching a player off guard. Like, whenever I'm zooming across the map, I never take these into account. I always catch myself slipping whenever these are around. Also, I just wanted to point out these ninja pizza slices because of how they emerge from seemingly harmless cardboard cutouts like a real ninja would. It's really cool.
Trivia game.
These ninjas were actually based off of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's perfect when you think about it. They live in the sewers and they're ninjas, in red, blue, orange, and purple specifically. Okay, now we get to arguably the best level in the whole game. Holy crap, this level is goated with the marinara sauce. The music in the first zone is okay. The next zone picks up the pace and honestly gives it the little boost it needed to be one of the best in the game. We also get 2 new game mechanics, the jetpacks that let you destroy ice cubes so long as you don't touch the floor. They get a B tier. While they are satisfying, they're not A tier satisfying. However, the next mechanic, which is arguably higher than A tier, is debatably the best transformation in the entire game, Spicy Pepino. After eating the spicy pizza, Pepino becomes red with flames and can use a fiery spin attack to destroy ice blocks without the need for a jetpack, with the most badass hype superhero music playing in the back. Like, it just feels beyond amazing having this power, especially with the music. Easiest S tier yet. Finally, we reach the 4th boss fight. Yeah, the one who's been purposely blacked out from the intro and hyped up for this moment. This is my favorite boss fight in the game, and it's Pepino? Wait, but I'm Pepino, so who's this guy? A fake? Well, yes actually. It literally is a fake Pepino. Or, I guess the fake Pepino. His whole thing is that he's just you, but weird. He has wacky movements, his voice is distorted, and his movement reflects Pepino's moveset. The reason why this boss is awesome is because of how well it catches new players off guard. Like, when I played this for the first time in 2023, nothing could have prepared me for the surprise. Like, seeing yourself on the boss gate was just a different level of unnerving. His first phase is him using his attacks, followed by his clones using the same attacks, but to a lesser degree. Then comes the second phase, where he uses all of his previous attacks except with his clones intervening, which honestly made the boss that much harder. Then is the third phase, which is sure to give some people nightmares. In this phase, you run away from this freak all the way until the end of the section. I've seen other people crouch and fake Pepino kind of just went the same speed as them, but when I tried it, he caught up to me. Oh, and when he catches up to you, the most terrifying thing that no other boss can do happens. You take a grand total of 2 damage. Come on now, you know how to do it.
Get trivia.
Out of all the bosses in this game, this guy is the only one who doesn't recover from a stun. So if you get him to this part and you don't hit him, he kinda just stands there. After you beat him and then rematch him, he's now fake Pepino in the title card. Pretty nice attention to detail if I say so myself. The final floor. First up is Pizza Scare.
Hi there, yeah.
The jingle at the beginning is the exact same as Pizza Escape, but with the last one replaced with a different tune. Interesting. Anyways, this level is kind of whack. Well, whack compared to the other levels of the first floor. It has 2 new mechanics and both of them are quite mediocre. The Holy Cross that lets you Holy Cross these ghosts to the afterlife, and the King Ghost who kinda just is a pest, except for when he's not and you really need him to progress to a certain point in the game. They both get a B tier from me. Okay, here we go. This level is easily top 5 for me. Here we have one of the happiest looking cover arts out of all of them. It has the pink background with the happy clouds, music notes, wholesome characters, and look, Pepino is happy in the cover art for once. He's not fearing for his life, or fighting for his life or anything like that, right? He's even got that peace shirt on. All seems well and good. Until you read the name of the level, which just reads in red, "Don't make a sound." As if it's trying to warn you about the untold dangers of this level. The atmosphere is amazing and the level hasn't even started yet. This level takes quite the inspiration from Five Nights at Freddy's, in the sense that there are 4 animatronics with a jump scare.
them with a surprise.
And there are a bunch of other objects and rats and stuff that are reminiscent of a formerly successful pizzeria. Kind of like a certain other franchise out there. This level introduces the final 2 game mechanics on this list. The jump scare, and one we'll get to later. The jump scare gets an S tier, not because they're scary on their own, but when you're playing the level, it does feel a lot more scary, especially when you're not expecting to get caught. It's kind of like how when you see people play FNAF, or any other horror game, you think they're just cowards or just overreacting when they play the game. But when you play the game for yourself, it suddenly feels way more daunting, since the fate of the main character is in your hands.
Game Trivia.
All the animatronics are in the same order as the toppings that you've been collecting throughout the levels. It's pretty neat. Also, the scariest jump scare of all time has a chance of happening at complete random. Like, it's actually complete random. Like, there's no way to reliably trigger this one. I didn't get this one in my own playthrough, but damn, it would have been dope as hell for the content. As for the actual jump scares, all of them are scary in their own ways, but the scariest one has to be the sausage. Like, the fact that there's no blood on it, as soon as you get caught, there's blood on it, is what makes it for me. The other ones are cool too. The mushroom is the introductory one, so naturally he'd be somewhat easy to work around and with a pretty standard jump scare, nothing too crazy. The cheese one is probably the most frightening to run away from, since with this zone, the floors are covered with sticky cheese that prevents the jumping and gaining momentum, making it all the more easier for this guy to catch you. Also, he can clip through walls. Not sure if this one is intentional or not, but either way, it's scary. Next is the tomato, which is probably the most underwhelming of the bunch. Like, unlike the other guys, the tomato is the only one where waking it up is not mandatory, so you don't even have to worry about getting away from it. Unless you accidentally get the snitch boss to count to 0. Though this zone does have the best background design by far. Afterwards is the sausage zone. Kinda intimidating, but mostly nothing too special besides the jump scare that I mentioned earlier. Afterwards, we get introduced to our next and final mechanic, the shotgun. Boy, you gotta love how unserious this game can be at times. Like, what could possibly make the game better? Gun. Not any type of gun, but a shotgun specifically. Got someone trying to start beef? Gun. Homework you don't want to do? Gun. Taxes? Gun. They also made sure to add a pineapple animatronic that triggers the other animatronics to keep the whole thing going. This game is a masterpiece. Say, did you like your gun? Well, wouldn't it be really cool if you could use that gun throughout an entire level? Well, in war, you can. Use your gun throughout the entire level? Yeah, that's right. We're going to war. Yeah, you can't grab anyone, but who cares about that? You can shoot them with a gun instead. This is war, and in war, people die. Anyways, this level is a total blast. Also, there's a time limit that you have to keep fueling throughout the level, otherwise you blow up. There's a time where I almost made it, but fumbled in the last few seconds, and my entire run was cut short just for that. And finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. The final boss of the game. The guy who's been threatening to blow up our pizzeria ever since the beginning of the game. The one and only Pizza Face. I gotta say, I love the intro for this fight. The people was all riled up like, oh, it is on site. It is on site. As for the fight itself, oh, I hate to say this, but the first phase was hella lackluster. I mean, you mean to tell me the same guy who had the ability to end your entire run just by touching you, and just by making contact with you, only does this? Like, nah, bro, if you don't get your squiggly diggly head in. The boss theme is cool, but it gets much cooler starting phase 3. After that lame-ass first phase, we get the ultimate plot twist that Pizza Face was actually a mech being piloted by the Pizza Head. Yes, actually, that's his name. Anyways, remember the revolver? The one weapon that you used like only once before? Well, say hello once again, because that's what you're going to be using here for the second phase. Ironically, the hardest part of this level was dodging the obstacle that the now broken Pizza Face mech spits out while you're fighting Pizza Head. This one was pretty mid. I can safely say that we're done with the mid, and have now gotten into absolute peak beyond compare. Pizza Head pulls out all the previous bosses, and Peppino f***ing loses it. Man, I ain't felt this much pure rage in a minute. These fights are just a shortened version of each boss where it's just a couple of their attacks and them losing 4 HP each time they get hit. And the music is pure hype at its finest. Like, this is music for when you're like in a life or death match. Like, whoever made the song here, let me give you a pat on the head back for your hard work.
Okay, turn around. Alright.
Afterwards, there's a final phase where you fight Pizza Head without the revolver, which is a lot better honestly. He rotates between a select number of moves, not too difficult to deal with. He's kind of a troll, but nowhere near as much of a troll as Denoise. However, the part that makes it for me is the final part where you relentlessly beat him up like a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure character, and then send him flying down with the meanest suplex known to man. Like, the game just beyond a masterpiece, but this is so satisfying, man. Finally, we have the final actual level of the game, the Crumbling Tower of Pizza. It's a rundown on all the floors you've explored with all the level gimmicks intact. It's a real fun breeze to go through. Also, the music is dope. Well, it needs to be to keep up the hype momentum from the boss. And with that, the pizza is finished.
Yes, sir, man. You know, I'm gonna be eating good tonight. Okay, so originally I was gonna do this bit where it's like, you know, I put all the toppings from the game, like, on these pizzas, but I don't have any of the toppings.
Broke ass nigga can't even afford.
And originally I was gonna make, like, an actual pizza, like, instead of, you know, just toast with ketchup. I don't have tomato sauce either. Forgive me, Italians. And cheddar cheese, since, you know, I have a bunch of them in the fridge. They're about to go bad, so, you know, I had to, you know, improvise. Normally I'd use mozzarella, but, you know, like I said, the cheddar was going to go bad, so I was like, might as well make as much use of the cheddar that I have. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we do a taste test live. See how good this is. It tastes really good. But probably would have been better if I used, like, you know, marinara sauce. You know, if I wasn't broke. Hey, say la vie, am I right? So anyways, I'm about to be eating good.
In summary, the gameplay is great. It may not always be the best, but when it hits, brother, it hits. The music is phenomenal, the level design is phenomenal, the chicken is in the game, a vast variety of movement options, a vast variety of memes. Almost everything about this game is perfect, which is enough for me to give Pizza Tower, as a whole, a 10 out of 10. If I had to pick a favorite game, this would be one of the answers. Like, I'm still not sure what my definitive favorite game is. Oh, shoot, I totally forgot about this. Oh well, let's see what I got. Really? All that just for no judgment? Like, bro, at least send me to hell for the content.
Yeah, so I killed someone for no reason. What about you? How did you get here? Oh, I heard Pepino too many times. You monster! How dare you!
Anyways, that's my One Piece. Thank you guys so much for watching. Here are my subscriber goals. And yeah, that's basically it. See ya!